So I need to talk about the tunnels of terror from Jeffrey Epstein's island and how, well, some people had wonderful lunches while the unthinkable was happening right below them. We have this. You know that I was talking about previously. I was talking about Bill Gates, and I had saved this thing about Jeffrey Epstein boasting about wild dinner with Mark Zuckerberg. But when I was doing research, I saw this, say that just 2 lines. UN Refugee Agency Chair Joanna Rubinstein visited Epstein Island. She has now resigned. I found it interesting. UN, United Nations Refugee Agency Chair. And this is way worse than anybody could have imagined. Again, this is going to be triggering, so you have been warned. The Swedish UN official Joanna Rubinstein met Epstein on his island and brought her children along. Thank you so much. The children love your stories and, of course, your island. She has now left her position as chair of the Swedish United Nations. I mentioned that acronym, but I want to mention this here. Thanks so much for a wonderful lunch, and an afternoon in paradise. And of course, an emoji. There's always the emoji. There's always an emoji right there. And paradise, she's talking about the Epstein Island. It was an extra treat for me to finally meet you in person. The kids loved your inspiring stories and, of course, your island. All right, Epstein's inspiring stories. Nice. I hope you will have exciting science days ahead of you. Signaling it is. Thanks you for your hospitality. All right, Bess, Joanna plus Ellis, Nana, and Oscar. Oh my God. So, why is this relevant? Well, one thing is that, yeah, we need to address the fact that there were actual tunnels, because many people are saying that this is some kind of legend, hoax, or something that never happened. This literally happened because now in the recently resurfaced or exposed Epstein files by the Department of Justice, we have the mentions of the tunnels. Crazy to me, says Consexy, how many references in these Epstein files to tunnels, particularly to a tunnel building at Little St. John. Anyone else seen this too? How have these tunnels never been found? And yeah, there are references to them, as Jewelry Blue mentions, for anyone still questioning if there were tunnels below Jeffrey Epstein's house and buildings on his island, Little St. James. There you go. And yeah, you see emails like this. I would not hold up payment of $100,000 searching whether Gensler had direction from the team that added tunnels and office below the main house. All right. So there's a reference to tunnels below the main house. So Danny worked this morning at main compound, cell tower, coffee bench light, master light, terrace light. Peter steps first. Bryce, can you sketch out or plan where you want vehicles in the sheds and tunnels? Okay, if so, those tunnels were huge. If you can fit a vehicle in there, that is important. If you could fit a vehicle, those tunnels were huge. And also this, how have you been? What's up with the Caribbean island? Staff still sleeping in the tunnels? So we see more and more references to these tunnels. And again, this is the thing, you might already know this. Just wanted to double check and go for reports of this. Bearing evidence, Jeffrey Epstein shipped 40K pounds of cement to Pedophile Island just weeks before expose that led to his arrest was published. So this was exposed, exclusive, that was back in the day in 2019. Jeffrey Epstein shipped a cement truck to PDF Island 3 weeks before damning expose was released, paying for a machine up front so it would arrive quicker, as experts say he could have literally covered up evidence. So he literally used concrete to fill up those tunnels. And this brings us back to the fact that people are asking questions. Obviously, these tunnels had a lot of dark stuff. They were made for a reason. And my best guess is that the guests that arrived on the island, they could use these tunnels for stuff, right? And at the same time, we don't have a guarantee if, well, we do. We have screenshots of cameras that pointed at these tunnels, but there's no, not that we know, recordings and tapes from these sources. This is the problem that we're talking about. What is my theory is that I don't think that he thought, that Epstein thought that this could have been, let's say, saved in a proper way, or I don't know, stored in a proper way, and he destroyed everything. He destroyed the tunnels, he destroyed the cameras, he destroyed the recordings, he destroyed everything. He made sure that nobody ever entered the tunnels, nobody ever checked the cameras, nobody ever had access to anything. So it would be interesting if somebody decided to, I don't know, dig up. Can it be done? This was from 2024. Green Lives Matter. Since everyone is talking about tunnels, now would be a good time to remind the world that Epstein factually had a tunnel entrance at his PDF island. Not only this, but cement trucks were shipped to his island just 3 weeks before he was exposed to the world. He was literally filling in the dungeon underneath his occult temple. To add to this, Ghislaine Maxwell had a submarine license. When the world accepts the truth, the real satanic truth behind what our government has done, then the awakening will be complete. So this is my question. And we go back to this United Nations diplomat for refugee issues, Joanna Rubinstein. And why is this so important? Because she had a wonderful lunch over those tunnels. Who knows that if there were things happening inside those tunnels while she was having a wonderful lunch with her children. But the most important and most critical part of this is her role. Not only she's close to the Swedish royal family, she visited the Epstein Island, but also this, she went to the island fully aware of his conviction, as Jeffrey Epstein, as Bill Gates did, Peter Attia did, so many people knew about this, who Jeffrey Epstein was. They not only kept going to his parties, they went to his island, and she is and has been a board member for several children organizations. This is the concerning thing. A woman having, with her kids, a wonderful lunch at Jeffrey Epstein's island, she knowing who the guy was, she knowing about his past, but no, I don't care. You know what? Yeah, I am for this Early Childhood and Peace Consortium, World Economic Forum, of course. Violence against children. She was something, violence against children as well. That is very convenient. Imagine these people with all that access visiting Jeffrey Epstein. You think that makes sense? Because that doesn't make sense for me at all. At all. Children in need with the Queen, that is. She also took husbands, Ellis, and the children with her to Peter Island. Joanna Rubinstein is currently the chairwoman of the UN Refugee Agency Sweden for United Nations, and between 2015 and 2020 was the head of the American branch of the World Childhood Foundation. Head of the American branch of the World Childhood Foundation. I need to go back to check that. When is okay? Okay, this is from 2012. This lunch was on 2012, and now we're finding out this. It's so everything is this is just amazing. In 2012, she visited the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein private island in the Caribbean with her family. This is evident from an email included in the new Epstein files released on Friday. Thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. Love your inspiring stories. I don't know what to tell you. This is horrific. This is another copy of the email. Already mentioned this. This is the thing I didn't know if I should mention this, because I'm absolutely going to get flagged on YouTube over this, but I'm going to try to suggest. I'm going to put this on the screen, and if you want to know what I'm talking about, you just take a look at the screen, but I'm not going to say that actively. Epstein and Maxwell bury 2 foreign kids who were strangled until they were no longer alive during rough abuse. This is as far as I can go with my words, but you can see it clearly on the screen what I'm talking about. I told you that this was going to be bad. Confidential, and you might be asking, I was asking, wait a second, how can an email on Gmail servers, because we know that Google is spying on us and everything, have access to us, and it turns out that these were emails not on Gmail, but it was in Proton Mail. All right, Proton Mail, which is a way more confidential. Edward, this is sensitive, so it will be the first and last email depending on your discretion. You can choose to take it or trash it, but this comes from a person that has been there and seen it all as a former staff at the Zorro. Zorro was the ranch, by the way, not the island. The material below was taken from Jeffrey Epstein's home as my insurance in case of future litigation against Epstein. Sorry, no questions. What is damning about Jeffrey Epstein is yet to be written. Did you know somewhere in the hills outside the Zorro, 2 foreign girls were buried on orders of Jeffrey and Madame Ghislaine? And here are the video footage of Jeffrey Epstein. Again, I'm not going to read this. First intercourse with a minor, threesomes, underage girl, girl from Bay Area, a video of a girl from Bay Area and her unalive self-deleting attempt, confession to Ghislaine Maxwell. Okay, so he was asking for 1 Bitcoin in payment for his silence, it seems. Again, what is this? This is the kind of stuff. So I just wanted to mention an example that how can you be all this, that this woman was chairman of all these children's initiatives and these charities and all these organizations, and having lunch with Epstein at his island. How does that happen? That doesn't happen by accident. That happens by choice. And what kind of choice? What kind of choice were they making? This is as horrific as it gets. I think that nobody has written about this better than Gray4626, LH Gray on X. I've been following her, and she's got this great take, and I'm going to read out loud because this is the real deal. This is what happened. Why the F would that depraved monster Jeffrey Epstein sink millions into carving out secret underground tunnels beneath his private hellhole on Little St. James, only to frantically pour hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of concrete into them right before the walls close in? Simple. Those tunnels were not for storage or staff quarters, like the sanitized bullshit excuses claim. They were arteries in his industrial-scale trafficking machine. Dark, soundproof veins where he and his elite cabal of fellow predators could drag terrified young girls, abuse them without echo, stash evidence, and vanish bodies or secrets into the earth. Victims have whispered about underground chambers for years. Hidden rooms, mechanical layers, jacuzzis for relaxation after the assaults, networks snaking under that golden dome temple facade. He built a subterranean fortress to feed his sickness undisturbed, shielded from drone eyes and prying bolts. And when he smelled the raid coming, that sick fuck, because there's no other way to call him, panicked and ordered a 100,000 cement mixer rushed to the island. Express delivery, no expense spared, to entomb it all. This is what he did. Pour concrete over the bloodstains, the restraints, the cameras, whatever unspeakable relics lay buried down there. Seal the horrors forever so no forensic team could ever excavate the full truth. Not renovation, not construction, destruction of evidence on a demonic scale. Epstein wasn't just a pedophile. He was a precision engineered predator who weaponized wealth to build his own private abyss. Filling those tunnels was his final venomous FU to justice. You will never know the depths of what we did. Rot in hell, you subhuman parasite. The concrete might hide the physical proof, but it can't erase the screams etched into the survivors' souls. We know what you wear. We all fucking know. Yes, this is no other way to describe this. And again, this is something that we know it was bad, but we are discovering levels of bad that go beyond knowing that there were tunnels, that there were torture, that there were the most horrific things that you can imagine. But there's so many people out there that pretend to be normal citizens that have just been silent about this, just, I guess, hoping for none of this to come out. And this is coming out, and this is why I tell you, this is a net positive that we are seeing all this, and we are realizing everything that is happening. All these people must be held accountable. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Battle Language Guy. Much love.